Greetings, Jasmine coming at you live from where I am coming at you from. Here with the topic of how to win the year 2022. Now, first things first, let me say, please forgive the noise in the background. I am a mom and a wife, and I'm kind of in the middle of my shift right now. Y'all know mothers, our shift never ends. But I just wanted to come on with the purpose of, just running through some quick tips about how you can win 2022. Now, this is kind of like a workshop type podcast in that we working through this thing together, because this is pretty much my plan, my New Year's resolution on how I intend to win the year 2022. We just started. Well, I can't even say we just started. We've been dealing with the pandemic, COVID-19 this is our third year having to put up with the foolishness, 2020, 2021, and now 2022. So I just wanted to come on with positive motivation, start the podcast again, get my channels up and running again, because people have been reaching out. And I'm so shocked that people have been calling me, of all people, out the woodworks. And I'm sitting up here like, you want me? I ain't got but so many subscribers and da-da-da-da-da. But you know what? I'm here. So before we get started, please remember that these are just my opinions. Whatever the topic is on the podcast, they're just my opinion, or whoever guest that I choose to have on the show. And always remember that your mind is your mind. Now let's get into it. So the first thing that you want to do in order to win the year 2020 is to set goals and be sure that they are realistic. Now, understanding what a goal is an idea of the future, or a goal is an idea of the future or a desired result that a person envision, plan, and commit to achieve. In setting these goals, choose them to be realistic. Now, at the beginning of the year, we always talk about what we want to do. Excuse me, I'm just moving baby wipes. We always talk about what we want to do for the new year. We want to lose weight. That's one of the top ones. We're going to cut this person off. We're going to start this business. We're going to start that business. And by this time, we're going to have this much money and blah, 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 blah. I am a victim of my own, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm the victim of myself trying to be too ambitious. I don't plan grace in my New Year's resolutions. I don't plan grace. I did not plan grace in my goals. And to be honest, some of those things were unrealistic. Now, granted, I'm not saying that if you don't work your butt off, things won't happen. But I am saying you need to take into account everything else that is going on that you cannot control. For instance, right now, my son, he's usually asleep right now, but for some reason, he's been super clingy today, which is fine. I love that. I love my son. And for those of you who don't know, I do have a little boy now. Last time you talked to me, I just had a little girl, and now she's 4 and Junior is 1. But usually Junior would be asleep right now, but he saw me come in here and close this door, and he's acting a plum fool. So, it was almost about to be I can't record this podcast. One of my goals were to, shoot some videos and stuff like that, and, put this podcast out. I was supposed to put out 2 this month. It is now January the 26th that I'm actually sitting down to talk to y'all. And that's because every day I'm being a mama, and during the day I'm being a teacher. And anybody who's an educator knows that that's not a job that just stops when you're at the school. But that's another topic for another day. So pretty much number 1 is setting goals and making sure that they are realistic. If you know that you are not a person who is going to go diligently and work out at the gym, do not just say, I'm going to lose 60 pounds, by such and such date, and then don't make out no plan, don't meal prep, don't do any of that. You have to be realistic with yourself. And in being realistic, it brings me to number 2. After granting yourself grace, which is setting goals and being realistic with your goals, make sure that you plan and prepare. Number 2's tip, plan and prepare. Stop talking and begin laying down the groundwork to execute. Determine the steps that you need to take. Now, step 1 was be realistic. Step 2 is going to help you be more realistic. You have to plan. Now, one of the things, I'm not sure if I talked about it on my channel before, but I do have a bullet journal. And in my bullet journal, I plan out every single doggone thing. I'm a person who I like things the way I like things. And so I'm very particular the way I like my planner. I could not find a planner that had everything that I wanted in it. And so it's been 5 years that I have just been creating my own planner by bullet journal, and it's relaxing and all of that. But in this bullet journal, I'm able to write down everything month by month, make out different spreadsheets, different fun things, down to the movies that I want to watch, how many books I want to read that year, how much weight I want to lose, how much money I want to save, how I'm going to save that money. If I need to generate more money, what are some ways that I can do that? And in these ideas of ways that I can do that, how can I, take this one way? Like, for instance, one of the things that I want to do is write and sell ebooks. I'm a writer. I got my degree in creative writing in 2019. And so putting my degree to work, I'm a really good writer. So I'm thinking, okay, I can do a short story here, short story there. And, what are the steps that I have to take for this? So that is, okay, let me list out some stories that I can write. Then let me do an outline of these stories. Then let me do this, that, and the third with these stories and figure out the steps of creating an ebook and publishing it and all of that stuff and marketing. That's what I mean about plan and executing. You can't just say that you're going to do this. Oh, I was going to do that, because these days people can read right through it. It's not like, when I was growing up and social media wasn't really a thing and you could say something and somebody could be like, oh, okay, well, maybe they just don't know how to do it. It's so many resources out here that allow you to know exactly what you're doing. Half the time you don't even have to go to college to figure the stuff out. There are millionaires out here who hadn't stepped foot onto a college campus, or if they did, they wasn't going to class. So it's unlimited resources out here. So just stop talking, sit down. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. Society says, fail to plan, plan to fail. So in order to make sure that your goals are realistic and attainable and that you could grant yourself grace, write down everything and really see how you can move in what you speak for yourself. Now, the third one is determine your timelines. That ties in with plan and prepare. By planning and preparing and listing things step by step, you can kind of get a feel of how long it's going to take you to do certain things. By doing your research, you can get a general assessment about how long it will take you to do certain things. So in order to keep yourself accountable, give yourself a timeline. By this date, have both positive and negative consequences planned for if you have achieved your goals. Have an accountability partner. And if you don't have anybody, you're just going to have to pour into yourself. Attaining accomplishments and things of that sort, it makes us feel good. So, put something in place so that when you achieve that goal by a certain deadline, you can celebrate. Or, I don't know, some people don't really care. Some people just, give themselves excuses. Me, I feel really, really, really bad. And then I do more and more planning and I put more and more on my plate. Like, okay, I'm just going to double up. And that's not possible. So it's important to first set realistic goals. Second, plan and prepare to execute. How you going to execute these goals? And third, create a timeline so that, it's attainable. And then if you don't meet a certain timeline, don't double up. Because what you don't want to do you don't want to just throw anything together. I know some people work better under pressure after they procrastinate and stuff like that. But it's a lot of things that are thrown together these days, and you can tell it, and people just eat it up. But you cannot beat quality with a stick. You can't. Like, think about, okay, with me wanting to be a writer and a creator and things of that sort, I think of shows that are pretty much iconic to me. For instance, This Is Us on NBC. The writing in that show is just phenomenal. You can't beat that writing with a stick. I love it. You can tell that all the characters are well developed. Like, this timeline ties in with this time. I love how they write. That's a show that's not just thrown together. Whereas you have other shows, and I'm not going to name anybody, you have other shows where it's very evident that a lot of the script, they told them to improvise. And I don't appreciate that, because it's just like the creator of these shows are billionaires, and a lot of their storylines are the exact same, and they're no longer pouring into anybody or nothing like that. Like, it's just, it's borderline smut. So what you don't want to do is just throw anything together, and then your first impression, second impression that people get of your stuff is just trash. I understand that sometimes we just need to go and there's troubleshooting and all of that stuff, but have enough care in it so that people can understand the detail. Say you want to create a restaurant or something like that. You want to start a restaurant. I know in the Black community, some of the stuff that tend to piss me and a whole bunch of other people off is, one, it's the attitudes of the customer service. It's just like, and it's not everywhere, because up here in Atlanta, I done been to some places where I've been treated like royalty by my people. There's this one in College Park, I want to say, the Foodie Feed store. Me and my husband, this was back when we had just gotten married and we were pretty much broke, right? He was in law school. I hadn't gotten my step raise. I think I was teaching for like 2 years at this point, and we were just like broke. And we went in there, and the chef and the manager, they came out, they greeted us, they gave us a complimentary dessert. It was, and mind you, all the other, guests in the restaurant, they looked like money, and we weren't looking bad. We just looked like a young married couple who, we had it a little tough, and they treated us no different than anybody else, treated us like royalty, versus we went to this burger shack up here and people just had attitudes left and right, or at the McDonald's, or, stuff like that. It's just, the McDonald's up here the McDonald's in general don't compare to the Chick-fil-A's. So it's that kind of thing. So don't just make sure your restaurant is clean. Make sure it's painted, and make sure when you paint, you look at the corners. Pay attention to the details. The details is what's going to produce that longevity, that loyal customer fan base, and that's going to grow your business. But if you just throw something together and throw something out there, people going to smell it. People gonna smell it, and you may go far, and I wish blessings on that, but I just don't feel like you'll go as far as you can go if you don't put your best foot forward. Now, I'm not saying, okay, well, if you can't do what you plan to do, then just don't start until you can, because you do need to make moves in general. But research better cost-efficient ways if it's a financial thing. Research alternatives if you can't find certain products that you need for your stuff. But just start, but also don't just throw anything together. I know that was a lot on point number 3. Number 4, set your boundaries. Right? Set boundaries. Set boundaries. Now, I don't know where that hit or how that hit, whichever time I said it. But I'll take myself for instance. With me, I'm not a confrontational person, not because I'm a punk, but because, okay, take it from when I was little. I knew if I got in trouble in school with anybody, my mama was going to have my hide. She worked night shifts. So my mama had to get up out of bed because I done sat up here and got into a squabble with somebody ignorant. That would have been no bueno. So I came off like a punk, right? But I don't know why I even said that. I think I just wanted to add that story in there. But I don't like confrontation. And in me not liking confrontation, I didn't set healthy boundaries. I didn't know how to deal with anxieties. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to go along with the flow so I don't have to go off on nobody. I can keep the peace. Since I had my children, I don't care. I've stopped caring what anyone feels about me so long as my children are taken care of and my man is happy and my immediate family is straight. I am good. I could care less about what anybody else has to say. I know, just speaking from a married perspective, or if you're early in a relationship, if you go out and you meet your significant other's family and you want to tiptoe around and play nice and stuff like that, that can create a way. Not saying being nice can create a way, but if you just let people run all over you trying to keep peace, that's pretty much giving them permission to, disrespect your boundaries. If you don't feel like going somewhere, then say, no, I don't think I'm going to go this time. I believe, and you don't even have to lie. I think I need to rest, and so I'm just going to rest. And those who love you will understand. If somebody's saying something off the cuff about you, tell them, okay, I can see I can't deal with you like that because look at what you're saying. Just don't hold it. Tell them in a nice, prestigious way that's going to stick to them and make them look like the idiot that they're being. You know what I'm saying? It is okay to set boundaries for yourself. That promotes mental health. That's why a lot of people in our community, they don't know how to deal with stuff. I know me in general, I have a lot of anxiety. I have social anxiety. I go through depression and all of that stuff because I wasn't taught how to deal with my emotions. I was always told to just pray. And then on top of that, I was raised in a fire and brimstone type church. So it was like, don't question God and this, that, and the third. So I grew up very fearful of God, and I didn't build a healthy relationship. So when you tell me to go pray, it's like, okay, I don't have that relationship right there. I know God is always with me, but I don't have that relationship. To me, it's like I'm going to ask someone that I'm afraid of to help me in this situation, and he's upset that I don't have it all together. That's what it felt like. And so I just think it is important that you set boundaries because that promotes mental health, that promotes self-security, that promotes self-love. Do it in a respectful way, and those who love you should respect it. I think that's one strong way to win the year 2022. You ain't gonna be worried about what nobody think. And then number 5, declare your victory. If you coming into 2022 like, I don't know. I saw this meme. It's very funny. Somebody was saying they wanted to ask the year 2022 who all over there. You know what I'm saying? But with me, I just kind of feel like if you come into the year expecting negativity, that's what you are going to harvest. I'm not saying that, stuff don't happen, because it does. Obviously, a ton of things happen. We all have had some misfortunes. We done lost somebody. Like, we done gone through something in this past 3 years, past 2 years. But on this 3rd year, let's come in with a positive mindset on how we gonna win it. I feel like now is our time to really just take life by the ears and ride it. Yeah. So, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 2022. Those are my tips on how to win 2022. I'm trying to come back. I do plan on doing short films, web series, and I have something else up my sleeve that I'm working on, and I'm really, really, really going to try hard because I'm really, really, really tired of teaching. And then also on my other channel, my Jazzy as a Mama, that's where you see who I am as an everyday person, as a mama and stuff like that. So those are for my parents. Y'all go over there. But for my main gang, welcome back home. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Comment below, subscribe, share, and I will talk to y'all in the next one. Love you. Bye.